Ladies and gentlemen, this is All Things for Wrestling with your host, Danny Harrow, and my co-host,
and Mike Larkin, host of On the Mic with Mike and host of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast for Lingerie Fighting Championships.
Today, after a long break that we have had, we are back, and we are doing the preview show for Crown Jewels, which is this Saturday at 1 p.m., with the kickoff being at noon.
Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, here we come, another Crown Jewel edition. From what we saw last year with Roman Reigns and Logan Paul to this year's, which is headlined by Roman Reigns and L.A. Knight. Yeah. Such great talents going into it, man. And I got to say, I'm really excited to see a lot of what we have on this card here, man. I mean, it's such a big feel from what we used to have with Crown Jewels. And mind you, what you may say or think about Saudi Arabia, professional wrestling right here. This card is amplified. This card has really showcased a lot of amazing talents, as within all things pro wrestling, pun intended. So let's hop right in to the card.
Let's talk about the pre-show match.
Let's hop into the card, man. Yes. So it's Sami Zayn and JD McDonough. I'll start here, Daniel, because here's my thing, man. Sami Zayn and JD McDonough, that passionate promo on Raw, the resistance, the rebellion, if you will. Sami Zayn has had his beef with the Judgment Day, now going solo since Kevin Owens is on SmackDown. JD McDonough just trying to be like that redhead stepchild, man, trying to get into the Judgment Day. Has helped them out a lot, but there is still some resistance, so to speak, with having him be a part of the Judgment Day. I mean, we've seen him in the mix with Finn, the man who trained him. We've seen him in the mix with Damian, Dominic, Rhea, the whole nine. So can the man who wants to be in the Judgment Day, the so-called one of the enforcers, one of the leaders, if you will, because there is no leader in Judgment Day, but one of the equals in Judgment Day, so to speak, JD McDonough, man, from his rise in NXT UK to NXT to where we are at the main roster, woo! But I have to say, in this particular situation, I got to go with Sami Zayn with that haluva kick for the 1, 2, 3. I'm going Sami Zayn. Who you going with, Danny?
Yeah, this even though it's on the pre-show, the matches on the pre-show card, I still think it's gonna be a banger. I mean, you have a talent like Sami Zayn, which we've seen what they've done with him, the crowd getting behind him, and then we have JD, who is, I don't want to say quite new, but is also quite new, and he has a lot to prove, not only to the Judgment Day but to the fans as well, because if you're not deep into WWE, because of his NXT UK days and, all that, if you're not deep into WWE like that, he's a new face to you. You don't really know much about him, right? So I feel like this match, not only is he proving something to the Judgment Day, but to the WWE Universe. But like you said, I still think Sami takes it with the 1, 2, 3, the hula kick.
For me too as well, man. And that's always the thing we talk about that differentiates between the main roster fans and some of the NXT fans. A lot of people that don't watch NXT would not know who a JD McDonough is, or previously known as Jordan Devlin. For me, man, just the history of where he is right now. And like you mentioned, him being a newcomer from starting on the main roster, killing Dolph Ziggler, to where we are now at the Judgment Day. He's grown leaps and bounds, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. And for me, Sami Zayn, man, whether he's solo or whether he's in the tag team, the dude is just golden. But yes, I got to go Sami Zayn, and that will take us off the kickoff match right into the main card here at Crown Jewel. So let's see, where shall we start? We will start with this one, my friend. Let's start off with the ladies, if you will. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's Championship, WWE Women's Championship is on the line. I'll let you go first on this one, Danny.
I feel like this is going to be a great matchup, right? You have someone like Bianca who, even though she's proven a lot, still feels like she has a lot to prove. And you like someone like that in the ring. You like someone that goes out every night like they have to prove something to the fans, even though they proved it a long time ago. To me, Bianca is one of those people, and that can be a controversial conversation where people like she hasn't proven anything yet, where some other people would say she's proven a lot. She doesn't care. She's going out there like she has to prove something, right? And on the other hand, you have Io, who I personally think she has a lot to still prove, right? But she is someone amazing to watch. She's someone that will always leave you with your jaw dropping. I mean, from the Money in the Bank match that she was in, to anything she really does, right? And being part of Damage Control, hot take, I feel like she's the bigger picture in Damage Control, right? And I think this is a hard one. To me, I gotta make sure I make the right decision here. Um, I'm gonna go with Io. Yep.
Okay, so for me, I agree with you. I mean, we've seen Bianca and Io wrestle Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. It's always a banger matchup, man. But I mean, from where Io was in the Mae Young Classic, Bianca, and those memorable matches in the Mae Young Classic with the women, like the Kairi Sanes, if you will. For me, man, she's just so athletic and so dominant. And I mean, ever since her inception onto the main roster, being with the Street Profits in 2020 during the COVID era, to where we are now with her being SmackDown Women's Champion, Raw Women's Champion, getting back into that fight because Io was the one who cashed in that money in the bank on her. And like you mentioned, when you think of the focal point of Damage Control, she is the focal point of Damage Control. All three ladies are amazing, but it is Io Sky's time, and she's looking to reach for the stars, touch the sky, if you will. But it ain't no Mamba number 5 like it's Lou Bega. Io Sky is up in the mix, the genius of the sky against Bianca Belair. I got to go with EO2 as well. Hits that moonsault for the 1-2-3. I think there will be some interference, but I don't think it's time for Bianca to win that championship back yet. Maybe Survivor Series, maybe December, maybe at the Rumble. But right now it is EO's time, and I too am going with EO Sky to retain the Women's Championship.
I think, right, and just so we can have this clipped on here, I think Io keeps the title all the way till Mania.
All right. First, nice long reign. Okay. I like your style.
And at Mania, I think we see Io versus Bayley for the title.
Long-term booking. Okay. And I mean, first of all, I like the callback there because, folks, anytime in long-term storyline, there's always that callback. There was always that little here, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if there's any place to pay it off, WrestleMania.
Exactly. So, yeah. But, we can put that match to the side now and bring us to the next one.
My dude, we are going to keep going on, Danny, with the women here. It's a fatal 5-way match for the Women's World Championship. It's the champion Rhea Ripley defending against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Okay, for me, I like all these women. First of all, Zoe Stark, from where she was on the independent scene, working for companies like Future Stars of Wrestling in her NXT tenure thus far. Amazing talent. Shayna Baszler and Rhea have that history. Rhea's the one who took the NXT Women's Championship off of Shayna Baszler. Nia Jax is back into the mix. I mean, people say what they will about her, but if you follow her fitness journey from where she was training with Charlotte, woman's lost like 50 pounds, looks in good shape. She's ready to rock and roll. And then you got Raquel Rodriguez, who the history of Rhea Ripley, from tag teaming, from being the enemies, and just being great opponents. I mean, that's another one, man. Their size, their statures, there's everything in between within this matchup. And I mean, if you're stacking the deck against Mommy, you got to love it. But if I had to pick, man, I'm going to say, and I'm going to add on to this one here, Danny, Rhea Ripley retains, and she pins Zoe Stark with the Riptide for the 1-2-3. And then let's see where we go more with Rhea Raquel, Rhea and Shayna, who knows? But I think Zoe Stark is the one who's going to take the pin in this one. I think it's too soon for Zoe. Raquel, we shall see. Nia, too soon. Shayna, we'll see. But if I had to pick, Rhea Ripley, pin Zoe Stark, I'm looking forward to it as Fatal 5-Way. Who are you going with?
So, I mean, all these talents are amazing. Like you said, people can say what they want about Nia Jax, but look, she did something right because she got her job back.
Right.
I'm pretty sure management didn't just call her back for no reason, right? You got your job right because you did something right. So people can say what they want, but hey, she's back, right? I'll tell you my selfish reason. I want Rhea to retain for two selfish reasons. One, that's my favorite female wrestler right now, right? Two, I'm actually meeting her not this Saturday because obviously they're in Saudi, but next Saturday I'm meeting her for like the 5th time, and I want the picture with the title, so she better retain, right? So that's my selfish reason. Getting a serious note, I still want Rhea to win, right? That's still my pick. I wouldn't be surprised if they put the title on Raquel. It could lead to a great back and forth with them, long-term storytelling. And, I don't want to say again Mania, but maybe take it to the Rumble or something like that. Zoe, like you said, still too early, in my opinion. Shayna, I mean, I feel like Shayna's just in the loop. And that's not to say anything bad. I just don't think that's someone that should have the title right now. I don't think she has the momentum, even from the fans. And again, not a bad thing, just an opinion. And Nia, like I said, she came back because she's doing something right. But I don't think I definitely do think she's winning that title, and then I'm saying it right here, so I can come back to this when she does win it. She's definitely winning that title soon. I just don't think it's this Saturday. So my main choice, like I said, is Rhea. And if she doesn't win, the only other person I can see personally winning is Raquel.
Okay, so agreements on both points, but I'm going to flip the script on you with this one because you said Mania, which when it comes to Rhea and Raquel, if I was to do it because they've also planted the seed since she has lost the NXT Women's Championship, I think we get Rhea and Raquel at the Rumble. Rhea retains, and then you go straight on to Rhea and Becky at WrestleMania because that for me is the match.
All right, yeah, I like it.
So either way, folks, it's going to be a banger. And so far, man, we've gone through the women. We've gone through Sami Zayn and JD McDonough. We are going to switch it up here, and we are going to go with that boy. And that boy I'm talking about is the Maverick, Mr. Logan Paul, going head-to-head with Rey Mysterio. Second year in a row he has a championship match. United States Championship is on the line. I mean, the history's here, man. We saw him against Dylan Dennis, that being Logan Paul, winning his boxing match and challenged, if you want to call it a boxing match, and challenged Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. Him and, Miz beat Rey and Dominic at WrestleMania last year. And here we are, man, United States Championship on the line. We saw him knock him out on SmackDown. We saw the exchange between the two. I mean, if you talk about high-octane aerial assault, this is Logan Paul athleticism. This is the legend, the lucha icon that is Rey Mysterio. Man, if I had to pick, I could see Rey retaining on account of the fact that they also brought back on Raw when he was in the ring Logan and Dominic. Ricochet's in there with Samantha Irvin, the whole nine, man. I think there's still some unsettled business with Ricochet, so I could see possibly Ricochet maybe screwing Logan Paul. So in that merit, I can see Rey retaining. But if Logan Paul wins, I'm not mad at it just because of the work and the hardship and the tuition that he has to go into professional wrestling. But for my selfish reason, I will say this just because I'm all about that booyaka, booyaka. I'm going with Rey Mysterio to retain the United States Championship. Who are you going with?
So like you said, right, the host Samantha Irvin, Ricochet, Logan Paul thing. So what I can see happening here. So let's start off with my pick. As much as I'm with the 619 as well, I think Logan wins. I think this is going to be the first title change of the night. And I think what they do with this is they have Logan win and they have Ricochet come out to the ramp or something and start setting Ricochet's next in line to challenge Logan Paul. So I see something like that happening. I could see Rey retain, which obviously great, cool. Like you said, the hard work that Logan's put in, the criticism he's taken, and even being able to box Dylan Dennis and still, be with wrestling and maintain his status. I think he takes it, and like I said, I think that sets up something between him and Ricochet, maybe at Survivor, maybe at the Rumble. Definitely, I don't think he'll be I don't think I see Logan Paul being a champion going into Mania, but who knows?
That's the great thing about wrestling, the unpredictability and the element of surprise. And what is a surprise to me here is the fact that when they first announced this, obviously we knew it was going to be good, but that impassioned promo by Cody on Raw saying, are you a leader, you were a follower, talking about the Judgment Day, everything that went into it. He's going through them to finish his story. He's back on his path, and the man is back to doing what he does, and that's talking him into the building. I'm talking about Cody Rhodes against Senor Money in the Bank, Damian Priest. Oh my goodness! From what we saw with Cody going through the table, the brawl on Raw, like we mentioned, the impassioned promo, the Cody Rhodes feud with the Judgment Day, all the way to get back to Roman and get to that spot at WrestleMania one more time. I'm here for it. I'm loving it. The story continues in the progression, if you will. So let me talk about it right here, man. Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest. It doesn't hurt if Damian Priest takes the L in here, but it also furthers the story with him in the Judgment Day. Furthers Cody's story. We're gelling. We're back together. I'm going Cody Rhodes. Meet you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely like we're Bone Thugs in Harmony. Who are you picking, Danny?
So my ideal pick is Cody Rhodes. Can I see Cody losing? Yes, I can. I feel like, and we see these jokes all the time, like, oh, so-and-so finished the story before Cody, A, B, and C finished the everyone thinks Cody's never going to finish the story. And if I'm WWE, I have Damian beat Cody. So people are left wondering, okay, he lost against Damian. So where does the story go out? is the story ever truly going to finish? He beats Damian, and we automatically know, okay, A, B, and C is next. The story's getting closer to finishing. But if he loses to Damian, it's like, all right, a step back. Where do we leave them wondering now? Like what's gonna happen next? Okay, he lost to Damian. You know what I mean? So ideally, yes, I see Roman winning, but I wouldn't be shocked if Damian wins as well.
I mean, for Cody and everything too, like you mentioned there, man, if you really do break it down, I mean, it could go either way. And what I love about it too as well, the Judgment Day storyline, could they possibly cost him? Like we've seen in the past, we see stuff with Cody. Is Jay going to get involved? What have you? I think there's a bunch of elements there, but I think whatever the trajectory of the story is going to be, I think it works either way. Whoever takes the win or whoever takes the loss here, because both stories are so intriguing. And that's the thing, is getting eyes on the product and really putting that gravitational pull, evoking emotions, eliciting reaction. And that's just what this does. So I could see it going either way. But yes, you, Damian, me, Cody. That's why I love you, man. And here we are to another one, and a both person that we love. We're going to talk about, man, it's the greatest of all time, John Cena going head-to-head with the Enforcer, Solo Sikoa. So I'm going to let you go on this one first, because I know that's your boy too as well. John Cena or Solo Sikoa?
I mean, my heart says Cena, my mind says Solo. I mean, why would you make Solo lose, right? And you're talking to someone who is a John Cena super fanatic freak, whatever you want to call me. I idolize Cena. I've said it multiple times to multiple people. That's my wrestling idol. That's my acting idol. Whatever you want to call it, that's the guy I look up to, right? That's, from having all his shirts from like 2006 to current day, having majority of his hats, majority of his wristbands, multiple pictures with him, meeting him at multiple signings. Do I want him to win? Yes. Realistically, when you think about the business, when you think about where Cena is right now, where Solo is right now, the tomorrow or whatever's going on, and Cena's gone, right? So why risk him beating Solo? You know what I mean? Like literally, and Cena said it, he said it at the press conference. The strike ends, I'm gone. No matter how long I told WWE I was going to be here, the strike ends tomorrow, I'm gone tomorrow, right? So let's say he beats Solo Saturday. Strike's over on Monday. He's gone. So why did he beat Solo? Cena's gone. Why do you beat Solo? So it's a no-brainer. I think that match was like, well, any match you put Cena in, you knew Cena was going to be the loser, right? And am I going to sit there and watch and have hope that Cena pulls the win? Yes, of course. I'm a Cena fan. Am I going into that match with Cena's going to win with the never give up attitude? Of course. But realistically, I think Solo takes it.
I love the story of he hasn't won a match since Jesus Louise, like 2018, folks, with him and Triple H at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Like the fact that we haven't seen him win since 2018, a singles match that being, it's nuts. And I mean, I love the comparison because if you look at Solo Sikoa, he's the Umaga of the bloodline, if you will. And when you think of John Cena's history, one of his best doggone matches ever was him and Umaga, that last man standing match from the Royal Rumble 07. I mean, don't get me wrong, New Year's Revolution was great, but when you think of John Cena Umaga, that's the match. I mean, Solo Sikoa is so athletic. I mean, he does the swinging solo, which is in variation of what Yokozuna used to do. So there's a little Yoko influence. Of course, the Samoan spike shades of Umaga. But for me here, dude, I could see the way of like, John Cena's been looking for that win. He's looking for, you know what I'm saying? He's never given up, and I could see him happening. But for me, I got to go Solo Sikoa too. I could see Jimmy getting involved, and that leads to John Cena losing. But either way, I think it's going to be a great effort from both men. You could tell Cena why everybody's loving this run. Cena's there back to give back, so to speak. I mean, we saw it with Austin Theory. We saw it in the tag match with LA Knight because LA Knight got a lot of the shine in that. But god dang it, man. John Cena, Solo Sikoa, I'm going Solo. Samoan Spike, 1, 2, 3. Samoa, if you will. Let's go with Solo Sikoa for that big win over Big Match John, if you will. And we are now down to the final two matches here, folks, on this Crown Jewel prediction show. Let's go with Seth freaking Rollins against Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, so if you saw the promo on Raw, folks, pretty much Seth telling him boo frickin' who, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get your moment 3 years ago. We were in tough times. People didn't even know if they were going to be surviving. We're talking about the COVID era at that time. We see Drew McIntyre's like, hey, man, Jey Uso, I don't trust you. Yeah, you may be a better person now, but I know what you did to me. He's not having that knight in shining armor going out and helping everybody. Drew was out for Drew. Drew was looking to regain that championship. The man's a monster. He's going out there and showing why he is the Scottish superstar, just everything that goes into what he does. Drew McIntyre's the man. What I really do enjoy about this as well, too, is you think he's going down the heel turn route, right? But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just, okay, I'm going to be a badass. This is me. I'm going to go and get mine, if you will. But either way, I've been intrigued with the Drew McIntyre storyline. I've been intrigued with Seth Rollins wanting to be that fighting champion, if you will. So if I had to pick one in this particular situation, I'm going Seth freaking Rollins with the curb stomp 1, 2, 3. He retains. I don't think they're taking it off him yet, but god dang it, I am here for the roller coaster ride. Who you going with, Danny?
So to keep it kind of simple, I'm going with Seth freaking Rollins. If we want to talk outside of storylines and behind the scenes and politics or whatever, from what I heard, right, or from what everyone's heard, McIntyre hasn't signed a new contract. This is a guy and this is a pure compliment. This is a guy you don't want to lose to AEW, right? You lost Edge, which is not really a loss, but you lost Edge, right? You don't want the next person to go over there to be Drew McIntyre. So what do? You put the title on him, right? Storyline wise, these guys are two people that you want to fight. You know, Seth wants to be the fighting champion. Drew just wants to kick heads off, right? But that's who Drew has always been. He's always been someone that wants to kick heads off. Win a title with that, right? I just think, like you said, I think in this situation, I go with Seth freaking Rollins. But if you want to talk political and backstage, and I think go with Drew. So my main pick, just to make it clear, my main pick is Seth Rollins. But if you do got to put into play politics and all this or whatever, then Drew.
I will add on to that because you made a great point. As the rumor mill out there is that Drew McIntyre, we'll see if he does re-sign that contract. But what I like about it too, as well, is if say he doesn't, let's just put it hypothetically here. Yeah. I mean, they got a show next year. They're going back to Wembley. Him performing in Wembley. He go back to being Drew Galloway like we saw in Impact. I mean, he worked his way to get back to WWE. There's no question about that, and that's the ultimate compliment, the ultimate hustle, if you will. But that's my thing too, man. It's just like if he were to go to AEW, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to bash the AEW product, but with everything that's gone on there and everything that we've seen, and you hear the rumblings, I mean, it's great for the pay and whatnot, but if I'm in that environment, why would I want to go the hell over there, so to speak? And I'm not trying to say that's a detriment, but with everything that's gone on, that we've seen in the forefront, it's like, do I really want to risk it by going over there with such – there's a lot of toxicity right now over there and everything that went down. So, I mean, the wrestling wise, everything's great. I mean, I want to see people work and I want to see a lot of great professional wrestling, but I think it could be also an attribute to see, do I want to really be in that locker room, if you will? So I don't know. I think whatever Drew does, he's a man of someone who's going to make the most of his opportunity, but since he is here right now at Crown Jewel, man, I got to, like I mentioned, Seth, I think it's going to be a great fight, and I look forward to seeing what happens with Drew after this, where he does go into the year 2024. So I'm all for it, man. Like I said, each and every bout that we've touched upon here has a great story, and there's so many different outcomes, like the possibilities are endless, and that's what's great about wrestling, the variety and really just being on the edge of your seat, so to speak. And speaking of being on the edge of your seat, we are at our main event here, folks. Roman Reigns against L.A. Knight. Yeah, for the undisputed Universal Championship. This has been great. LA Knight is just interrupting Roman. No fucks given, if you will, sitting at that head of the table at the contract signing, hit him with the BFT. Roman hits him with the spear. Roman has just come back and just does what Roman does, and that's be in God mode. You got LA Knight, who from a year ago was a maximum male model, now to where we are a year later. It's absolutely crazy to think about. The man has worked. He has hustled. He has grind. I love what they're doing here. But of course, I'm going to go with the head of the table, Roman Reigns. There's going to be some bloodline interference, but I think LA Knight is going to show up and show out. And this is one of his coming out parties. The man is red hot. Strike while the iron is hot. Roman Reigns, LA Knight. Give me more, like we're Britney Spears up in here. I got to go Roman Reigns, though, to retain. Who you going with, Danny?
This is another situation like the John Cena situation, right? You benefit if I'm creative, if I'm management, backstage, whatever. You benefit from having LA Knight win in only one way, and that's you satisfy the fans, right? You got to think longevity though. You put the title on LA Knight. How long is he how long before everyone gets tired, right? Of cheering LA on? Because we've seen it with plenty of other superstars where they're like, yes, put the title on them, put the title on them. They put the title on them. 3 months later, they're like, he's just a normal guy now. Who cares? So yeah, you can have LA win, but who's still gonna be there cheering him like they do now 4 months after he's won the title? With Roman Reigns, I mean, it's Roman freaking Reigns, right? I just don't think he drops it. I mean, if he drops it, how does Cody finish the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you put all that to play, I mean, I'm going with Roman Reigns, and I just don't see LA winning. That's pretty much to me is just the storytelling of it all. Unless you have drew a blank. Unless you have LA win and then have him drop it like Survivor Series. Well, Roman's not even scheduled for Survivor Series. So, I mean, if you have LA win it now and then drop it in like 2-3 weeks or something, cool. But then nothing made sense, right? So before I get all complicated, I'll go with Roman Reigns.
I think what's great also too around this is as well, like you mentioned, Roman not being at Survivor Series as we're hearing right now. War Games, man. I think they're going to set up a War Games with like a mixture of the Judgment Day and the Bloodline against. We'll throw them on the team here: Cody, Jay, LA Knight, and Sami Zayn, or Sami, Cody, and Cody Rhodes and Jay. And Kevin Owens being in that too as well. But I mean, I think there's going to be a variation coming out of this where we're going to get the War Games match between two different factions that really have been against the Bloodline, been against the Judgment Day. So I think that will come into fruition. I'm excited to see what direction they go. And I mean, LA Knight, the man could do no wrong. He's charismatic. He is the undeniable Kavorka, if you will. I'm really looking forward just to see how this plays out. And I mean, we say this a lot, folks, and it may sound repetitive, but this is the beautiful thing about wrestling: the storylines, the subtleties, the intricacies, the nuances. This is what's going to make this show awesome, man. And we're coming to you, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 1 p.m. this Saturday. If you're on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, it's 10 a.m., and then you got just everything. So it'll be probably 7 or 8 p.m. over there in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But God dang it, man, that is Crown Jewel. The next time you will be hearing from us, Daniel, for our next predictions, if you will, but we will do a review of the show and a recap. But God dang it, Danny, we then have November 18th with AEW for Full Gear, live from Cali, which will feature MJF and Jay White for the AEW World Championship. MJF going solo once again against the Guns for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship. Tony Storm versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship, and a 6-man tag, Sting, Darby Allin, and I refuse to call him Adam Copeland, Edge, against Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Little Nick Wayne. So, yeah, we'll be back more for those predictions. But the recap, folks, come on back for us because we cannot wait to recap and do more shows and put out great content for you here at All Things Pro Wrestling. So, Danny, final words, go ahead.
Final words. It's great to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Those are going to be great to be back. Full Gear coming up. This show, this Crown Jewel. I'll say this real quick. Ever since WWE signed that 10-year deal with Saudi, the first 3 shows kind of felt like, hey, let's just throw these people into this card or whatever. Lately, they've been taking it more serious with adding storylines. Like, if you really, really remember when they first did this contract with Saudi, they treated it like a live event. Like, hey, let's throw these guys into a match, whatever. Cool. We're getting money from Saudi. I want to say the last few years, it's been more of okay, let's actually turn this into a real pay-per-view. Let's give it a pay-per-view type feel. Let's put real pay-per-view matches on here. So I like that it's become that. I mean, the show on Saturday, it's stacked, right? So I think I like that a lot, and I think it's gonna be a great show. And then we have Full Gear, which is gonna be a great show as well. And just in general, I'm glad to be able to hold this again and be here with you and record and just do what we love with all things pro wrestling.
Absolutely. I will add to his point, folks. I mean, we have gone so far from the days of Shane McMahon being the best in the world and all the matches that they would put on Crown Jewel that felt like he mentioned a live event to where we are, which we came from last year, Roman and Logan Paul, and everything making sense in the storyline progression. So, I mean, for what we've seen now at the Saudi events, I mean, again, taking out politics and government from aside, from the professional wrestling standpoint, it is very much a stacked show. And we cannot wait to do the recap for you and watch it like we all do, man. But it's on early ass o'clock, if you will, at 1 p.m. So whatever time you watch it, enjoy it, soak it all in, because it's a great time to be a professional wrestling fan and apply the craft and love the craft that is pro wrestling. So if you want to check us out, you can check all things pro wrestling out on Spotify. You can check us out on Twitter at ATPDubPod. You can check us out on Instagram, all things pro wrestling. And Daniel, let them know what we all about, man.
Look, we're here, right? We took a little hiatus, we took our little break, but what do we love to do? We love to work, we love to bring joy, and we love to interview people. And that's what we're gonna do. That's what we've always done. We've given a platform, we've spotlighted talent, and that's what we're gonna continue to do. So, like Michael said, follow us on Twitter, ATPW Pod, all things pro wrestling on Instagram. Follow our go on our Spotify, go on our YouTube. I mean, we have Janai Kai, Brooke Havoc, Brittany Brooks, Akira, Marcus Mathers, Cole Radrick. We have a lot of people on there. So if you guys want to listen to some very good interviews, head on. We have Bobby Fish.
Bobby freaking Fish.
Laura Frazier. We have great talent that have given us the time to sit down and talk to them and learn more. And that's what we love to do. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We have a lot of more people lined up for season 2. Yes, season 2. Coming up shortly. So enjoy this episode of our prediction show before you guys hear our new episodes and the new people we have to speak with.
Beautifully said, folks. Representation of your presentation, giving people the platform to tell their story. And we'll be back. So stay on that ride with us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Spotify, wherever you get your goodness, whether it be audio or video. We are here. We are there. We are everywhere. And we look forward to putting out more content for you. So for Danny Harrow, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening to the prediction show, if you will, for all things pro wrestling as we present and talk about and discuss Crown Jewel. We will see you in the next episode. We thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And thank you so much for your support. Take care, everybody.